Evolution, natural selection. What is evolution? The definition we are going to use in today's science scenes is evolution is the change in the inheritable traits of a population over time. Here's an example of evolution. On the left side of my diagram, I have these cute little creatures called quibbles. Over time, as their environment changes, so do the traits of the quibbles. Now we have an idea of what evolution is. But the question is, what causes evolution? The main driver of evolution is a process called natural selection. What is natural selection then? Well, natural selection is a process by which nature selects for different traits within a population. The first step of natural selection is that members of a population have slightly different traits from one another. This is called variation. Here's a population of quibbles. You can see that they all vary slightly in their traits from one another. Some of them are more green, some of them are more yellow, some of them are hairy, some of them are smooth, some of them have webbed feet, some of them don't. I'm going to put my population of quibbles behind a green environment. With most species of animals and plants, there are more members of a population than can survive to reproduce. This leads to members of that population competing for resources in order to survive to be able to reproduce. Let's see this happen in action as we return to my quibbles in their green environment. Quibbles have a natural predator, a snipe. A snipe relies on its eyesight to hunt for its food. As you can see, the easiest quibbles to pick off are those that don't blend in with their environment. Therefore, the snipe is going to eat those that are less green, leaving behind only those that are more green to reproduce and pass on their traits. Those who have the traits best suited to their environment are more likely to survive to reproduce. Darwin coined this term as survival of the fittest. Second generation of quibbles, you can see that my quibbles have become more green. If my snipe comes back to hunt some more, he'll have an even harder time picking off the quibbles. Those that are less green than the others will then get picked off selectively over those that are more green. After a few cycles of this, death and reproduction, the quibbles' traits will slowly shift towards the green colors. Now, this selective force doesn't necessarily have to be a predator relationship or caused by a predator. Selective force can be the environment itself. For instance, let's take my original population of quibbles, and let's put them in a cold environment. In a cold environment, those that are smooth and have less hair are going to die and not pass on those traits. So over generations, my quibbles will become more and more hairy. So as you can imagine, as the environment changes, as long as it changes slowly enough for the quibbles to adapt, so will the traits change through natural selection. Eventually, the resulting population will no longer resemble the original starting population. That's all for this episode of Science Scenes. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment or feedback.